Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Outhouse Beach is a popular training spot for scuba divers, but this week, divers who previously used the location without any trouble on a regular basis tell PNC that Port Police kicked them off the property. Port General Manager Joanne Brown says that's because the divers weren't properly permitted.
Well, pretty much the port is requiring that any commercial operation that is using port property ensure, particularly in this case where you're dealing with commercial dive companies, is we certainly want to make sure that they meet our requirements. We want to make sure they have a business license. We want to make sure that they have the required $1 million insurance that's needed for that type of operation.
According to Director Brown, it's not the policy that's changed as far as using port property for diving and other recreational purposes. What's changed, she says, is the enforcement.
I think it's a question of standardizing and enforcement, and as we go through this process, and as I have, over the last year being here at the port, as I move from one division to the next, I want to see that things are in order, and this is part of putting things in order.
The cost of that commercial permit is currently under review, but Brown says it ranges from $250 for a 6-month period up to $1,500, depending on the size of the operation.
We are looking in the interim. I know the initial proposal was if you were under $50,000, because those are companies that weren't required to have to pay a GRT if they were below $50,000. However, I have to re-examine that. That's something I'm going to readdress with the board. I think there still should be a fee at the end of the day, because I don't like the inconsistency of some do and some don't pay. I think there should be a standard fee.
But what about the average scuba diver who isn't teaching a class and just wants to dive from the shore? Brown says you can use Outhouse Beach for free. You just have to be registered with the port.
It's no issue for individual residents that want to come down for recreational purposes. They're not required, of course, to pay a fee to the port to be able to go out and do dive activities should they choose to for recreational reasons. But we're not talking in this case, and the ones that are obviously bringing these concerns are not recreational divers. I mean, they are doing it for commercial operations.
For information on obtaining a permit, visit the port's commercial office on the 2nd floor of the Board of Directors building or call the port at 472-PORT. Betsy Brown, PNC News.